Miss Sherry here. Welcome to Kids Club. And I put my mask on for a reason. So we've been wearing a lot of these kind of masks. But today in Kids Club, we're going to experiment and make a much funner mask. A much more fun mask. Anyway, here we go. So this is one of my examples, and it actually fits on my face. I wasn't sure if it would. And I think it's a little fox here. You see the ears, the stuff at the top, and so forth. So that's one example. And I have some more examples that we'll take a look at. We'll go through things here in just a minute, and I'll show you how to get started. So here are some examples of pieces that I worked on, and I'm going to give you some close-up views on some of them so you can see some of the details. I'll move back out. And I also went to use the pattern paper there that has different kinds of patterns on it for a little bit of inspiration with some of these. So those are some examples. Next up, we'll talk about how to get started. All right, these are the basic tools to use on your scratch art. This is a plastic stylus. It has a narrow tip here and a wider, broader tip here. Then an unwound paper clip works pretty good with that nice little point on the end. I also tend to use a mechanical pencil with the lead retracted, so there's no lead out. And my favorite tool is a wooden toothpick with the round tip. So these are my tools that I'm going to use. All right, this is an example that I started, and I'm going to continue working on it. We'll try all of these different tools, okay, and see how each one of them seems to work. So I seem to have more control with the wooden paper clip, but the stylus also works really well. And the paper clip more so for fine lines and that kind of stuff. So maybe we want some really fine skinny lines here on the tusk, so I could go back with the paper clip and put in some even smaller, finer lines in here. Hopefully you can see that, okay? Every once in a while you can tap it. Again, our newspaper, if I didn't say that earlier, helps cut down on the mess, and it's an easy way to clean up. And then if I wanted to, here, when they have these lines on the trunk, if I wanted to take those out, I can try taking those out with the pointed end of the stylus. And I can go right up to that gray line. I already went over it, so now I'm just going to go back and try to clean up my edges. Shake some of that stuff off of there so I can see what actually needs to be scratched off and what is crumb. And clean that up a little bit. If it doesn't clean up as nicely as I would like, I could still go back with the wooden toothpick and go around the edges and clean up a little bit more there. Or maybe I add a few little lines in between with that. Tapping to get those crumbs out of the way, or you can sweep them off with a tissue, a paper towel, or your fingertip. Fingertips might leave some oil. What I do on one side, I want to do on the other. This is my more orderly design here, trying to keep it fairly symmetrical in appearance as I go. And so symmetrical being the same from side to side. So if I wanted to work on the eyes, I would look at what I did with this eye, and then I would come over here and try to do the same thing. Here I have a spot where I accidentally scratched it, so that'd be a place where I would go back with a little bit of liquid acrylic paint and a drop of dish soap, mix the two together, and just kind of rub that in there with my fingertip to fill that back in. It won't look exactly the same, but it will be close. I'll also give you a solution for making your own scratch board, which is really simple and easy to do. So I'll give you that a little bit later on. Okay, finishing up today, I just wanted to show you the final results of the mask. So here we have one started, the random one kind of in the middle, random design, and then the elephant in a finished state, a little more orderly design, almost, not quite symmetrical, but pretty uniform. And where did I go for inspiration? Well, I showed you the pattern paper earlier, but I also looked around at different animal designs and prints and so forth in books, in nonfiction and fiction. So take a look at the books in your library and see what kind of inspiration you can find for your animal mask. I hope you've had fun today. I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.